So this was our first introduction to the Starboard's Running of the Bulls. It's been an 18-year tradition that was started by a D.C. lawyer and grew from a bunch of guys hanging out in a house down at the beach to a hundreds and hundreds of person event, and was just listed on E-Entertainment's E-Online's bucket list items to do. They also raise a ton of money for the local volunteer fire department, which is great, and give back to the community. And I'm here to tell you, after having been there, it's more than just drunk people running down the beach, although it is quite a bit of that. Welcome to the Todcast. You're listening to the Happy Hour Todcast, presented by GoodCleanFunLife.com. Find us on iTunes by searching GCFL and subscribe today. Sick in the lane. I am Todd from GoodCleanFunLife.com.
And I am Tony Rousseau, no relation. We got a great show for this week. All sorts of fun and games and fun. I just want to tag up, you said it's not just a bunch of drunk people running down the beach, and if it weren't the story portion, I would have said no, it's a bunch of drunk people running down the beach being chased by a bull.
You are absolutely correct. It's a great story. It was a lot of fun and a great story. The guy who came up with it is just this like average guy. I interviewed him, and he was just quite amazed at how over the past 18 years it's turned into this tremendous event. I have always heard about it. I've never participated in it, and to be there and to be filming was quite an enjoyable time.
Yes, and I hadn't heard about it all this year. That's in Bethany at the end of the year they have this burying summer, right? The jazz funeral in Bethany Beach. You familiar?
Mm-hmm.
And what I always thought was really ironic about that was it started off as a way of the locals having like farewell, good riddance to the tourists kind of thing, and so they did like this thing. But it became so popular that people started extending their vacations another week so that they could participate. So in what used to be a good riddance to the tourists, now we have our town back, is like one of their biggest tourist draws in the shoulder season. So.
Oh, the irony.
Yeah.
Yes, which makes sense. It would make sense now to introduce. I kind of feel like this is. Like, what was one of those old shows where it's like, oh, my friend the musician just happened to be stopping by my house?
Right.
Wayne's World. Yeah.
I was thinking something much more cooler than Wayne's World.
Maybe the Johnny Cash show?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the Johnny Cash, right?
Yes.
This is Nate Clendenen, and I'm very happy to be sitting next to him, Clendenen. Mm-hmm. And as usual, there's a naked woman between us.
That's true.
Par for the course.
Luckily,
is it Tuesday already?
Normal and well. And that's on the Todcast.
So I figured, we haven't yet, while we've been doing the Hangouts version, the online version of the Todcast, we haven't yet had a guest. Although we've had the possibility to, we were going to call in and that sort of thing. Nate just happened by. His dog was being groomed.
He's still currently being groomed. Yeah.
And his dog, if you don't know, is well known around the 10th Street area of Ocean City, Maryland, especially on the Bay side. Mm-hmm. The Bodes.
He's a celebrity.
He's a celebrity.
Is that where do you busk down there, or why is he a celebrity there? Is that where you live?
Yes, yeah, I live in the belly of the beast.
Oh, I see.
I like to refer to it as affectionately. He's a very impressive human-sized dog man, and yeah, people actually know and would rather hang out with him than hang out with me. So, literally, it happens all the time. Hey, I just stopped by to say hi to your dog. Oh, okay, cool. Well, he's right over there. But yeah, he's getting all different. He's having a spa day right now.
Did you get out to the running of the bulls?
I did not. I was working. I had a big day. What was that, Saturday? You said?
Saturday?
Yeah, it was a big day this past Saturday for me, and I was out of town. And
where were you playing?
Well, that was
that the Rams Head?
That was Rams Head on stage in Annapolis. Yeah, that was that night.
With our friend Sweet Lita.
And the Cheaters.
And the Cheaters.
Lots of friends. It was a very friendly event.
That's a cool venue too.
Great. Yeah.
Tony, have you ever been to the Rams Head Live in Annapolis, Maryland?
Whoa. Rams Head Live is in Baltimore.
Okay.
Right.
Rams Head on stage is in the real Rams Head, as I like to refer to it, is in Annapolis.
Yeah, I've unfortunately been to neither. I'm not cool enough. I can't get tickets.
Oh, we should have had this conversation last Tuesday.
My wife has been. She loves it. She goes whenever somebody. My wife goes. She likes to go to shows there. I like quiet shows where I get to do most of the talking and people just listen to me.
Cool. Here we go. Yeah,
this is your bag. As you can see, Tony coming from the space station Delmar, floating high above the Delmarva Peninsula.
I was telling Todd before the show started that we tore all of the plaster out of our house this weekend. I'm literally in the nicest room in the house, and it's a dormer off my bedroom. Downstairs is stripped all the way down to the studs, and it was when I walked into this house in 1996. I said those drop ceilings have to go. So when I got out the crowbar, which I didn't need to use to take them down on Friday, it was pretty satisfying. It was almost 20 years.
I'm sure that felt good though. You didn't need the crowbar, but you want.
Right. I needed the crowbar. I didn't require the crowbar, I guess might be a good way to put it. And while we're on the subject, I wanted to share with the kids at home the treasure that I found. Everyone finds treasure when they redo a house. Some people find jewelry. Some people find gold doubloons. Some people find Superman #1 comics. This is what I found. Fell out of my drop ceiling during the construction process. It is a circa 1990 porn tape.
Awesome. I got Easy Rider strokes. Yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
I had to do it. A reaction take of Nate leaning in to read.
Yes,
that might be worth some money.
Well, no, I hope not, because I threw it out. It was moldy. But as you may have been able to see
that could have been from any number of things.
Which is why it went directly in the garbage. Picked it up with gloves, threw it out with gloves. But before the show, I was telling Todd that I didn't know anything about it, and I mentioned there wasn't anything on IMDb, and then I said, oh, wait, I didn't even check IMDb because I got bored, and I was too scared to do too much searching on the internet for Easy Rider Presents Strokes Porn, because that's just going to gum up your search history in ways that are...
Now you're going to get Google alerts for
exactly
8, 9, and 10.
Your cookies are working overtime now.
So while we were setting up, I actually checked into IMDb, and Easy Rider was an actor and director. He produced a lot of he produced many porn type and adult level videos. He was born in 1938, making him about 50 when that first movie came out. And he worked. His last actor credit is Wicked Weapon, which came out in 1998. His first acting credit was Lick My Lips in 1990. So, and that
was an art house piece. I mean, it was really kind of the cornerstone of his career.
Very avant-garde.
It was a good start for him. I don't know if you recall his Welcome to Bondage series.
Oh,
Or Backdoor Hollywood. But the Welcome to Bondage series, it looks as if there were maybe 20 or 30 films in that series. So he was pretty prolific, especially when it came to bondage. Sorority Sex Kittens, classic.
Yes, of course.
You know what's even better about this is that whenever we do the Todcast, I normally have headphones on, and the audio is just coming through that. And now Natalie is sitting on the at the opposite end of the partners' desk, also enjoying this. So this makes it all that much better. And I'd like to comment on the Matt Amy painting that we have behind us. That all ties everything together.
It does. We know where. Well, this is the internet now. We can put on adult-style shows. We can put on shows for grown-ups. He did an actual movie as well, which I don't know if you've heard of. I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't really know it. It was called Feast, and it was directed by Mike Tristano, and it was a horror comedy.
Okay.
Where two guy roommates lure lovely ladies back to their bachelor pad for a dinner they'll never forget, since it's their last.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's funny because you said Feast definitely did sound like a horror comedy to me.
Yeah, I think.
So I don't know if that means that I knew it, or if that's just what you would name a horror comedy. I mean, horror porn comedy.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was part of. I mean, it's in the right time, 1992. They have all of those. All of those.
You mentioned that he was a actor, director, and producer.
I don't know if he was a producer. I would expect he would. I mean, I said he produced these movies because there were a lot of them.
Yeah, lots of
there was
work.
production involved.
Yeah, he was productive. He's listed as an actor and director, and his IMDb page has himself as actor, director, self, and archive footage.
There you go.
His alternative names are Easy Rider with a period in front of the E and the Z, Easy Rider without a period, Easy Rider with a Y, Easy Rider, EASYRYDER, and Nigel Wild.
I'm pretty
Nigel Wild.
Nigel Wild. I'm pretty sure that we've just discovered a new format for a podcast / hangout, and that is just reading IMDb. About old porn from
Where are they now?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm happy we're talking. You told me we were going to be talking about current events. I feel that this is the current event that we're talking about right now.
Well, it's the best I can do because I've fallen into the internet rabbit hole. Just to bring you up to speed, I'm working on a book. It'll be out hopefully at Christmas. It's due in 2 weeks or 4 weeks, so I'm right up to nervous breakdown point, and I've been mostly just in the internet looking for photos of old people.
Is this the book that you've been working on for 2 years, or this is the book to launch the book you've been working on for 2 years?
This is the book that hopefully will launch the book I've been working on for 3 years, not to be...
3 years. Sorry. Thanks for watching.
And it's a biographical Nigel Rider.
It is. It's a biographical of Nigel Easy Rider Weigel.
Nigel Rider.
I know it's beer on the Eastern Shore, and so I've been doing a lot of research.
Tons of research for that run here.
Yes. You gotta put the work in if you wanna get the product out. If I want to produce like Easy Rider, I gotta work like Easy Rider.
It's great because a minute ago we're enjoying a couple of highlights, and Nate like leans off camera. He goes, "Can I drink on camera?" And I think if you would have waited two minutes.
That question probably answered itself, yeah
rather quickly.
Well, cool.
Yes, yeah. Well, you know what? While we have a guest here, you want to talk about? Do you have anything coming up?
I mean,
playing summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got things coming up.
Yeah. You're gonna pick up bodes from the groomer, and then.
Yes, my priorities today are picking up my dog and getting my busted ankle back home. But no, yeah, I got tons of gigs.
Where can we find out about these tons of gigs?
Denenmusic.com.
DENN.
Nope.
DENEN.
Music.
Music.com.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with Todd. I mean, he can barely say your name, so giving him to spell it that might be a bridge
Well,
too
we've
far.
only known each other for like 5 or 6 years now, so I mean, it's cool.
It's weird. Nate calls me Toad all the time. So.
I know, I do. but
it's funny. He said
term affectionately, you know.
He said Nate Clendenen, and I'm like, I've been getting his name wrong all these years. But, no, apparently not.
Yeah, you're right.
You're good.
I'm just an insensitive prick.
But at least you're good looking.
Yeah, thanks.
And I don't know if the camera's translating all the glitter that you've got on you.
I do.
Maybe some on the neck.
I do. Tony, so can you see that?
I do.
So we're I probably have the only job where I am not a bouncer at a strip club, but am still in danger of being glitter bombed for work at work every so often. So we stopped by the BJ's canoe races today, which was being held today, and there were 9 heats of lots of people running down the beach. This was lots of drunken people in canoes circling a marsh island.
Luckily, not drowning.
Not
in 6 inches of water.
Yeah, it was pretty shallow. So
yes,
but it was actually 40 years old. The first time I'd actually been to that event. So I don't know. It was a good time, and it was all meant for fun.
It's definitely a good annual OC event.
Right, yeah. Right. All the service people show up for that, and then don't show up for work tonight.
Very true. That happens.
It's a big call out day. I remember the first time and the last time I covered it. It was very, very embarrassing for me. So I've not been back. But when I was a reporter there, I was assigned to cover it, and I got there, and I had either my battery died or it was still on the charger, and I had nothing in the camera, so I wasn't going to get any photos. But I'm sorry, the battery died halfway through. That's what it was. I took a couple photos, and then the battery died, and so then I'm like, all right, well, my day's over. But now people see that I'm from the paper, you know, and there were like a bunch of young ladies. They're like, oh, take a picture of me, and like I felt like kind of like a creep because I'm like, there's nothing in the camera, but like they wouldn't leave me alone. So I'm like, all right, snap.
Go with it.
But I'm like, I'm totally gonna get caught, and they're going to think that they're gonna think that I'm with Easy Rider, and things will end poorly.
Actually, there's a certain amount of those gals that will probably hope that you're with Easy Rider, that you in fact are Easy Rider.
And since that just doesn't happen to be my bag, I tried to find my car. Yeah, I'm a married man and whatnot. I said better to get in the car than to have to do any more explaining than I already have to do. So in the paper, we had like
explaining is much more involved than just explaining. Explaining
right.
Is extra what you have to do in situations like that. Yes.
Right. It's the backpedaling part is the explaining. And I would love to go back because it looks like a fun thing to shoot, and you get a lot of. Well, that'll be my next book, Ocean City Annual Shenanigans in Ocean City, the history of Ocean City shenanigans.
So actually, that would be a novel.
And we could actually go to shenanigans. I just realized we have a reflection in our naked lady. I
can see myself in your naked lady.
It's
me.
Far out, man.
It's
but it takes like 10 seconds to happen because it's a delay.
We're actually going to be entering I looked at my producer to make sure I'm allowed to say this. We're gathering a lot of footage from the Delmarva and Ocean City area. Covering the BJ's gig was not a paid thing, but it's great to be out there and to be a part of those events where a lot of our people are. But we are going to be entering a video contest at the end of summer that's put on by Luke Newman Films, this guy that is an incredible DSLR filmmaker. He's got a great YouTube channel. You should check him out, Luke Newman Films, or just Newman Films. He has a couple channels. So all of these things that we're gathering, and we're going to try to gather, aspects of just about everything we can, not just the nightlife, music. Maybe we'll have some clips of the not the Easy Rider, but the discussion of the Easy Rider in there. But the contest is summer in ... So we're going to do summer on Delmarva, since we're doing all the way up to, include some Salisbury stuff in there and that sort of thing. So
It's not summer in Salisbury right now.
it is. Well, it's not.
Is it?
It is.
Oh,
I think
I thought it was only summer down here.
it's summer everywhere.
It's Christmas here. It's like Australia, except less interesting.
Actually, yeah. Australia's pretty cool.
So you've inspired me a little bit, Tony, with you and your creating a book and whatnot. Yeah. We're gonna try to create a body of work that we can pander as well. So
yeah, why not?
Right.
Jump on the bandwagon as long as there's a bandwagon to jump on.
And there's a band on the wagon.
Yes.
Gotta have a band playing on the bandwagon. Yeah.
Yes, indeedy.
And speaking of bands on the wagon, G-Love is joining us this week. Not us personally, but us here in the region.
Yeah, that would be a great tease. Yeah, Nate, you want to move over? G-Love's gonna come and sit in the. He's not. He's G.
I'm moving over. What?
G-Love is coming to Delmarva. He plays up the Starboard. He's going to be there on Thursday night.
He's playing at the Starboard?
He's playing at the Starboard.
Right on. That's awesome.
On Thursday.
Cool.
Free show. Never a cover there. And I think he played Secrets last year.
And last couple years.
But he always plays the Starboard. It's almost like it's just, I don't know. It's a cool
it's like
venue.
a revisiting to his senior week when he came down from Philly in 1987.
Right. He used to be in a fraternity that used to always rent a house on Dewey Beach.
Is this real?
No, I'm just kidding.
But I wouldn't have taken him for the fraternity guy, but that's okay. That's
I would not have either.
He's a badass. I can say that on the.
You can.
He's a badass.
You can drink, talk about porn, and say badass on the podcast.
Awesome.
So he's going to be here Thursday night. We're going to be up there, covering the event. And it's funny because we've gotten in. You should definitely check out the Starboard YouTube channel. I got a great video of literally people running down the beach for 3 minutes, set to Chariots of Fire.
Awesome!
It's pretty good. And we're putting a video out from the weekend, and we'll be covering him. And it occurred to me, usually when you go to cover an act, it's their management that decides, it's like, all right, first 3 songs, no flash for, all of that. But it's just funny because we're kind of carte blanche at the Starboard, so
Well, G-Love's actually really cool with that. I've shot him before when I was in college.
Yeah.
And he was totally fine. He's like, take as many photos as you want, and then you can come on the bus and take some more photos.
There you go.
And then that's exactly.
So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to take lots of photos on the bus.
But no flash.
No flash.
Of course.
Oh, man, we just got a flash, too.
No.
You never take flash photos.
Yeah, man. It freaks out their eyeballs.
Yeah, it blows out the photo. You have to bounce it off the ceiling or something absurd. I don't know what that means.
Well, we're going to be doing plenty of video, so we'll have that for you in a week or so.
And by shot him in college, I meant with a camera.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also with a BB gun in the thigh.
But he actually asked me to do that. That was a whole different part of the conversation.
Here's the fraternity initiation.
Right. Maybe he was in a fraternity.
And tonight you're going to the Mustache Bash. Do people have to wear one? Do you like?
This is one of the more popular Mackey's theme parties, and it actually pulls. I'm trying to convince Nate to shave. Nate hasn't shaved since this morning, and this is the beard that he has.
Usually I wait a day or two before I carve out a mustache, but
I'm going for the I'm getting rid of all of this. I'm doing the the Fu Manchu kind of yeah. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and I may even keep it all week long till Friday,
might as well.
Which is the bathtub races here in Maryland's coolest small town.
I've got here. Is that going to come through on the thing?
That might.
Oh.
Farther back.
No.
There you go. Oh, we got it.
Oh.
We lost it.
Shoot.
Right up top again. Put it right on the camera. Right on the. There you go. Oh, there you go.
That's not really coming through very well. That's only, you can only see like half of it. I have a pretty crazy mustache when I'm mustachioed. That's what I was just trying to. Oh, maybe that one would work.
Now that looks.
You can't really see it.
Yeah,
That-
you actually
that
look like
picture
a
looks like
member of-
Easy Rider. If that's
Yes,
not Easy
that's-
Rider, I don't
yeah,
know.
That's totally.
I was actually going to say you look like a member of the band in that, with only because it's all sepia toned from my perspective. It looks like it was taken in 1972.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, that's funny you say that, Tony, because the name of that mustache was the 1974.
Oh, I see.
Like,
Close.
Literally.
Tony, maybe you should come and be a judge at the Mustache Bash and be able to identify what year.
I would consider it. Is Mackie still in Ocean City?
It is in Ocean City
It's,
all summer long.
Definitely.
We'll have to see. I'm going to be at OC Brewing next week for photos, and at I don't know. I guess every restaurant in Ocean City now has a microbrew in it, so I'll be in as many of those as I can stand before I run screaming back across the bridge.
Only funny because it's true.
But I got to get over there and finish my stories and my photos. Not only my photos do, but if there was anyone who wanted to contribute photos to the book, they would have to do that very, very soon. Otherwise, I'll have to just use the horrible ones that I took when I was a reporter.
You said they were due by the 15th to me.
I actually said the 22nd.
Oh, you did? Okay, well, good, because
An extra week. There you go.
no, it's. I think well, he really told me today.
Yeah, that was for.
Oh, but we're also at the BJ's canoe race. Taking pictures of scantily clad people, and
Was that
Natalie
any film?
turns to me.
That's what I did.
And Natalie turns to me and goes, "Our mortgage is due today."
Damn it.
It's
Totally forgot what the 15th meant.
like I just got glitter bombed.
um,
Can't you
I
see
wanted-
him?
so
Can't pay
just
the mortgage.
real quick before we- I'm sorry, I missed what Natalie said.
That was me talking in a high voice.
Oh.
I don't know. Anyway.
In my research, I find lots of stories that I cannot use, or I could use, but I'm not gonna because they don't fit. And I found a great one last week about a guy who was a servant. This is in Accomack County, Virginia, in the year 1666,
Mm.
and he had spent a week on a bender,
That's the
getting
week.
drunk and getting beaten, and getting drunk and getting beaten, and then finally he got drunk and got beaten to death. And there's this long murder trial about the guy who they think may have beat him to death, and there's just a line of people saying this guy was I'm going to paraphrase, but it's just like testimony after no, the guy was a drunken asshole. We all hit him all the time. It was kind of our thing, and
We
and-
enjoyed it.
and what I love about the old timey courts is it like that. It's just there's all of these stories and they're really just. I mean, Wild West doesn't even get. Can you imagine what it was like in Accomack County in 1666? That is,
No.
we're on the continent for 30 years, maybe.
Well,
I can't imagine what it's like down there right now.
It's not quite as civilized. They can still beat you to death for being drunk.
I mean,
think.
they just go on benders. They don't go on benders and get beaten. They, I don't. Where does the beaten part come from?
They burn stuff down there.
They do. There were arsons, right?
Right, that's where the arsonists were. No, what happened was he'd be in charge of working. He's a farmhand or a person for hire. You have to remember, we're not big into slavery just yet in the 1600s. We actually didn't get really big into slavery until after the Revolution.
For clarity, we were never big in the slavery.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is Maryland, buddy. Neutral.
Actually, for what it's worth, the Delmarva Peninsula attempted to secede from Maryland so that it could join the Confederacy. It also attempted to secede from the colonies so it could join the English. So conservative doesn't quite get at the mindset of our fellow Dalmatians. We don't want to be America. We want to be England. We don't want to be in the North. We want to be in the South. We pick winners, and we pick them in a really aggressive way. But anyway, so since we weren't big into slavery, we had a lot of servants, white servants, indentured servants from England, and they would get really, really drunk. Rum was preferred over beer as what you would give your field hands, and
Y'all
so
run around here?
and so when you didn't do your job, like the maid would beat him. He was just like a whipping boy. I think he would get really drunk, and people would just smack him on the head with things constantly. And then one time he got the I guess the switch that broke the servant's skull. That's what I would title this if it were a weekly, like a whodunit, like a Matlock style, or Father Brannigan murder. What was it?
I don't know. I like Matlock
Father
of
Downing mystery.
Accomack County.
Father Downing mystery. I would call it the switch that broke the servant's skull. Agatha Christie maybe could have used that. But anyway, it was just a fun story, and I'd like to share them as I go along because I'm not going to get a chance to write them, and someone should know about these awesome things.
Indeed. So that's what, and the phrase "whipping boy" it definitely comes from that.
That's a C term.
It is?
Yes.
Like ABC?
No, like SEA.
Like.
But I don't. I'll tell you what. I'll be in charge of that for next week. I'll give you the etymology, or entomology's bugs, etymology's words. I'll give you the etymology of whipping boy next week.
And will there be an explanation?
No. Unless I lie, then the week after there'll be an explanation. I don't remember how it goes.
Perfect.
So I just real quick. Let's sum up what we got going on. We got the mustache bass. We have bathtub races. You were saying
bathtub races are on Friday here in America's coolest small town.
Smallest
cool town. That would be actually, I guess, wherever they had 30 days of night would be the smallest school town.
And that will be Friday starting at 6. I'll be emceeing, which is a great opportunity for me just to yell at the neighborhood kids like I like to do.
And you're very good at that.
And I pride myself on it. Tony, did you happen to see the piece that my buddy Lowell Meltzer from WBAL did on Berlin?
I saw that there was a piece.
Hey, thanks for reading.
I was too busy looking at this guy getting beat up in the 1600s. I couldn't. I've tweeted like 6 times in the last 6 months. I mean,
yeah,
I'm gonna go see a doctor.
You've done more than your fair share. That my buddy Lowell did a great piece on Berlin, and yeah, this is one of the pride and joys of Berlin. There's new safety features that have been put into effect after last year's near bludgeoning /
catastrophic something or other.
I still, people are like, "Oh, Todd, you were so brave. You jumped in front of that, careening kayak headed towards that group of small orphans." And really, I was just,
I heard about
flailing my arms and jumping out of the way like a schoolgirl. But
not only was I scared, I was so uncoordinated that I ended up in the front instead of away from it.
Exactly. So hay bales lining the street. We're gonna have a special safety test. I don't know what that means. And
just push it as fast as you can, let it go.
Right, and see
if it stops.
See if it stops.
Is physics still working today? Good. Let the race begin.
I still think that one of the requirements is that your vessel has to be able to hold like 5 gallons of water. So my contention is that you have to race with the 5 gallons of water in it.
Oh yeah.
And because
why would that not be part of the rules?
That either slows everybody down or prevents them from stopping because of momentum. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not actually sure that's a good idea.
So
that's what we have going on. Nate, are you playing anywhere that you can remember?
Thursday at MR's from 6 to 9. Saturday night late at Buxy's with the band Eastern Electric. Saturday solo up at JC's Northside. Sunday at Ron John's Surf Shop at noon. Monday at Coconuts at noon. And Tuesday at Castaways Bar campground place down 611 at like 6 or 7.
I don't know if you picked up on this, Tony. He's a working musician.
He's a working man. That's how he's busier than me. I've got stuff going on too, but I'm not going to brag about it.
Well, I didn't want to itemize my gigs, man. You just put me on the spot to do that.
Tony, are you playing anywhere this week?
I will be at the Maryland Historical Society until I go blind, probably Friday afternoon.
Nice.
And because I've got a photo deadline, I don't know if I mentioned that to you, Todd.
No.
And also at the NAB Center till I go blind, probably Monday, and a photo shoot with Brian and Tom Noor, I believe, on Monday afternoon for the big book.
You mean
Very excited. Hope to start blogging about it. Well, actually, I have to write it, and then I'm going to blog.
John and Tom Noor?
No, just Tom, I believe.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you said Brian and Tom. I'm like,
I did. Yeah, no,
Brian
Brian's
Brushmiller.
Right.
Tom. There we go.
I
The
have in my
Berlin
head
Diva.
this awesome photo of Brian, Tom, Ace, or Adrian Moritz from Eastern Shore Brewery, and the guys from Real Air Revival all having a beer together and having a fun time. And we nearly had it booked last week, and it came apart. And this week we said whoever comes is in the photo, and whoever doesn't is not in the photo. Brian is in for sure. Tom is in for sure. And everybody else will just, we'll see how it goes. I believe Adrian will be there. The guys in Cambridge, they're busy as hell. They're still catching up. I don't know how much you know about them, but they just started catching up to the production that they're required. So they've been real busy.
Yeah, we just ran into Randy from RAR over here in Berlin the other day. So yeah, he said
Randy's the brewer, right?
Yes.
I played there randomly with Sticky Longfingers on the first or second day of the regular baseball season, and I saw my first televised O's game, and it was.
There's a
cool.
very cool place. It's outrageously cool there.
Yeah.
They open up the windows. People are hanging out in the street. Very cool. They also have. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
It feels very cosmopolitan, but in a Cambridge kind of way.
Absolutely.
Super cool.
But they also have. And I didn't know this. A lacrosse team, and they play Burley Oaks lacrosse team. I
wonder how many sprained ankles came out of that game. My goodness.
Very many. I'll go with very many.
Very many. All of them.
All of them.
Every ankle was sprained.
There was also up there they serve sushi on the regular.
Yes.
Yeah, is that right, Tony?
They make it behind the bar. They don't have a official kitchen license. They have a food truck type license. So they prepare everything behind the bar in a microwave or on a hot plate, or else they'll roll you up some sushi if you want it. They've got a list there, and that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's cool.
I feel like I want to get sushi right now. You want to drive to Cambridge?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
You missed the mustache bash.
Oh,
you have
right.
to shave yet.
Sorry. Tomorrow we'll go.
If you guys have a shaving party, you should have it there and shirtless and live tweet it.
And fantastic, shirtless, everybody. Sweet.
All right.
It wouldn't be the first time.
All right. Well, that's all I got for this week. How about you, Todd?
That's all I got. I got nothing.
All right. Well, may Todd give you the sense to live in a small town.
We'll see you next week at Happy Hour. For more, go to goodcleanfunlife.com for podcasts, event calendars, articles, and more. Call or text us at 703-828-GCFL.